Hi there. How's everybody doing? This is Sergio Sais with the Real Estate Hedgehog, and this is our podcast number 41. So we're moving along at a really good clip, like once a week. So it's a great clip. And anyways, I'm here with my partner, Sam Yin. Sam, how are you doing, buddy?
Good, steady. But I got something for you, man, that just happened to me today.
Okay, let's hear it.
So I'm on the phone with my one of my property managers, just getting an update, dealing with some tenants and stuff like that. And you know what he asked me that should surprise me? He goes, "Hey, did you ever send me my check?" I said, "Yeah, I sent you your check. I sent it on the first of the month." He
Okay.
goes, he goes, "No, for the rehab." I said, "What do you mean for the rehab? This is on that one where I told you I got the rehab done really cheap for six
Oh
hundred
yeah.
bucks, right?" He
Right, right,
said,
right.
He said, "Oh, the $600, that was just the material. You owe me for some labor." I said, "Whoa, okay." I thought it was too good to be true, but apparently I misunderstood because he speaks very broken English.
Oh, okay.
I can't understand him either in English or Spanish. I don't know what
Yeah.
language he speaks, but he ended up saying that I owe him $500, which is still a great deal. And a
Right.
team of two people doing the whole thing, and they charge $500.
Oh
So
no, that's
not
great.
bad.
That's great. I just recently had one of my units out in Indianapolis. I had a tenant that just came at the end of their lease, and in September they told us that they were, come October 1st they were out. And okay, that no problem. And even though they treated the property fairly well, it's not like they were destroying it or anything. It cost me about $1,300 to rehab it.
Ooh,
So if you got $1,100, that's even
yeah,
better.
it's all in that same neighborhood. It's still not bad.
And I think you got a better deal because you got California dollars.
Yeah,
Indianapolis dollars actually are supposed to take you farther, but it
yeah.
cost me $1,300. But you know what? And I remember a few episodes ago, we had talked about our buddy Rick Perillo and how he had got hit with some rehabbing work he had to do because people left and got to come in. But that's because he had single family homes. And so when he got like a double whammy, I remember, because not only did he lose out on the rent, which happens, someone leaves, and unless you have someone that can move in immediately, which doesn't necessarily, always happen, you're missing out that 1 month's worth of rent, and then it cost him a few $1,000s to rehab the place. And I remember him telling us, yeah, it kind of hurt me a little bit. But again, it goes to the idea of having multiple, family units. Even a duplex helps you out a little bit. Certainly, tri and fourplexes and above, with every additional unit, the percent that you lose is less and less. So, and you know how that goes. If you got 10 units and one unit is up, okay, you're down 10%. If you got 20 units and one unit is up, you're only down 5%, and so on.
Oh yeah, yeah. The higher the unit count, the more stability you have in cash flow.
So that brings a very good point, because we're all about commercial property. You and I are here at Real Estate Hedgehog. And yet, how is that market doing right now for you, Sam?
Oh man, I can tell you, I think I'm about as active as you are out there looking and searching and all that, but it's really uncertain. And I say it's uncertain because we don't know where the economy is going. We're still kind of in limbo. We've got conflicting reports, and there's really no interest rate hike reduction in sight.
No.
There it's either going to hold high, increase a little bit higher, but there's no hold and slow down and decrease in sight.
You're absolutely right. That uncertainty thing is huge right now. So in the newsletter that we just published, I talked about that I was listening to a couple of guys that I like to listen to on podcasts, Ken McElroy, Jason Hartman, and a guy named George Gammett. And they were talking about the real estate market and about how not only is it uncertain, but there are so many variables within the real estate market that are up and down and sideways in every which way, which makes it very uncertain. So, and again, what was their recommendation? To kind of hunker down, to hold off. And and I thought, I'm going to talk to Sam about that. What is his thoughts about hunkering down? What do you think?
That's what I told you right away. I think I'm at the point now where, based on what I see in the current unknowns and the more variables, the more risk, because
Yeah.
these variables are things that you are supposed to be able to control as an investor or find ways to control and manage. But the more variables, the more things you got to manage, and it's too hard to manage too many things. So I think at this point, the best thing to do is to hunker down. And it kind of comes down to, we had a lot of aspirations and intentions a year ago, 2 years ago,
Right.
but the market's changed. The world changed. We had COVID. We have the war in Europe. We have the spike in inflation. We have the interest rates dropping and then now shooting straight up. And we have so many other things that we don't know about, to include the recent elections and the upcoming main election 2 years from now. So all these things are so uncertain that I think that based on what we see, basically kind of like the hand that you're dealt, you kind of have to work with it.
Right. And that's such a great point. Working the hand that's dealt to you. But before I go into that thought, I want to say that, yeah, the interest rates, we don't know where they are.
Yeah.
There's a curve for everything, right?
Yeah.
So right now, and tell me, give me your best estimate. If you could tell me where those interest rates are in that curve of, beginning, middle, and starting to come down, where do you think we're at?
I think the honest truth is, I don't know. That's the crazy part, because you know what? Right now, this might be the low for the future. It may go up and it may not drop below where we're at now. So for those who are hoping to buy something now and refinance lower a year or 2 or 3 from now, this might be the low.
And therein lies the uncertainty.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. So I'm thinking, so as an example, I'm thinking, I can buy at 6.5%, 7%, and 5 years from now, 7 years from now, when when I have to refinance or sell the property, I'm sure interest rates will be down to 5 or 4%. For all we know, they'll be at 12 or 13%. We don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. So, a lot of stuff happens because of our age and our experience, right?
Okay.
And that's just the reality of it.
Sure.
So for the folks who've only been in this game in the last 5, maybe 10 years, all they know is a downtrending interest rate. The highest interest rate they've ever seen was probably 7%, right?
Yeah.
So they think this is the high. But to my knowledge, and I'm sure you've seen the same, this isn't high. In fact, historically, this is still very low. And in fact, it was many, many, many decades ago that we even came close to a zero Fed funds rate. I mean, when was the last time in our lifetime that we saw interest rates in the 2.875, 3% range? Never. Meaning that it'll probably never happen again.
Right.
For the last 20, 30 years, literally, that I can remember as an adult, I believe the interest rates were averaging around 6, 7, 8%.
Yes.
Right. And it was higher than that prior. So what I'm thinking is this might be the new low, where we're at now, about 7%.
You're absolutely right. So I love the fact that because I'm thinking, I'm going to set Sam up right now. I'm giving him the curve. He's going to pick a spot on the curve.
Try to get me, huh?
Yeah, and I'm going to get him on that. But you answered exactly the way I feel. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're at the beginning, the middle, the end. I just don't know. And because there's so many other factors also that are impacting. And that's just interest rates. Every market is its own market, has its own challenges. One market might be on the upside, another one on the downside. Earlier we were talking about rents. Can a certain market sustain even $100 per month increase?
Yeah.
Maybe yes, maybe no. So just a ton of.
Well, one more point relating back to real estate investing. If you're going to leverage, meaning you need to take a loan, whether it's 60%, 50%, 80%, whatever the loan number is, just remember lenders also feel the same way we do. And so because of that, they have to hedge their bets by increasing your down payment amount, increasing their fees, and putting verbiage into that contract to make sure that they're safe. And that may include higher prepay penalties, larger increases or higher ceilings on variable rates, and stuff like that. So the things that they need to do to protect themselves, because they also don't know what's coming.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned about what you were doing or what you were thinking about doing, and I'm kind of right there. I'm kind of like there with you. I want to. My gut is telling me just hold off, because come 2023, and we've talked about how the real estate market is a lagging market. So the prices we're seeing right now were established 3, 4, 5 months ago, and then the prices in about 3 or 4 or 5 months will be the ones that we're establishing now, but they'll be different, really, right?
Yeah.
In the future, they could be actually at that point where they're really starting to come down, because you had mentioned,
Or maybe not.
or maybe not,
Or maybe not, because you know what happens is sellers, 2, 3 things, again, variables, right? There's a lot of variables. And one of the big variables right now is in the last few years of all these new homes that were purchased, they're purchased at an incredibly low rate.
Yes.
And when you look at what you have, because of the rate that you have on the money that you owe, it may be more valuable to you to keep than it is for you to sell to someone else and exchange. And therefore, there is motivation out there for people to not only hunker down in investing, but hunker down to any transactions, especially the regular homeowners who thought that they were going to trade up. They can't trade up into something at 8%. So they might just hold on to what they have and maybe improve or add to it. And what that does is it stresses the inventory. And if inventory remains low, the interest rates can keep on going up, but the prices stay up because there's more demand than there is supply. So that's another unknown.
And in fact, that's exactly, I was mentioning that I was listening to Ken McElroy and Jason Hartman talk, and that's one of the points that they brought up.
Oh man, I should listen to that.
I'm telling you, it's a great video. You gotta go look it up. But they mentioned the fact that because of those low interest rates right now, my house, if I wanted to sell my house, it's more valuable to me than it would be to you, the buyer. It's more valuable because I have such a low interest rate, and I'm paying relative to what the value of the house is. I'm paying a very low mortgage payment. But if you bought it for me, even if you bought it at a fairly discounted price, your mortgage rate at 6.5, 7.5% is going to be 2 and 3 times higher than mine. And that's not even counting, the increase. You have the increase in value or the price that I'm saying I need, plus the increase in the interest rates. So that property to me is more valuable than it is to you. So right now we have that kind of conflict between buyer and seller. Buyers really haven't figured it out yet, have they?
No, a lot of buyers haven't. I think investors figure it out.
Okay.
But regular buyers, who technically are the investors' competition because they drive prices up, they haven't figured it out.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that come March, April, things will turn, and I'm hoping that the sellers do figure out, you know what, I've got to bring my prices down. Yeah. But you made a very good point. Because of other things, they may not.
Yeah, so we just don't know. So there is a high degree of uncertainty, too many variables to predict. But I think, come first, second quarter, the end of it for next year, 2023, I think we'll have a better idea. And I'll tell you this, I'll give one more prediction. Sure. If the amount of variables stay high and the uncertainty remains high into next summer, then you know what? Everything we've learned, everything that we thought we knew, has to almost go out the window. We have to relearn everything.
We may have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, things change. The world evolves, technology evolves. And so mindset of the up and coming adults, who is really our clients, they evolve. And so that might change us and the way we have to look at how to invest properly.
Absolutely. So here's the $1 million question. Yes, that's going to be first, second, maybe even third quarter of next year, but probably right around the second. But what are we doing right now? What to do right now besides hunkering down? What else can we do? Huh?
Well, I would say for me, don't stop what you're doing. The basics are still there. Mitigate your risk, have your reserves. But you know what? Small base hits, they work just as good. If you find a small property, a lot more affordable, takes less money out of your pocket, so it lowers the risk factor of losing a lot of money in one chunk. and it returns well enough to kind of meet your buy box, go for it. Don't let it go. There's deals to be had. There might not be great deals to be had like there used to be. The plethora of deals have kind of shrunk, but it's still out there. So if you find a duplex or a single family home that's going to require 10, 20, 50,000 out of your pocket, and it's going to give you 5-10% return right off the bat, that meets the buy box. Buy it. Buy it.
Excellent advice. You know what that reminds me of? Kind of like in football. You got the offense that's going down the field, and of course the defense. Hopefully they've done their homework, so they know kind of like what to stop you at. And usually the main plays that you have in a football game, you got the running game, you got the short pass game, and you got the long pass game. And the defense can stop usually one or two of those, but they really can't stop all three. And if you've got a decent offense, you find out what it is that the defense is giving you, and you take that. So if they're stopping the run, but they're leaving the short pass open, that's what you do. If they're stopping the short pass because they're coming up, the defense is moving up, you go with the long ball. So you take what the defense is giving me, and I think that's kind of what you were saying. We need to take what the market is giving us.
Oh yeah.
If the market isn't giving us those 20, 30, 40 unit apartments, but they're giving us those 2, 3, duplex, triplex, fourplex, get it. All you got to do is go 10 yards to get that first down, right?
Oh yeah. And that's
10 yards here.
Right.
10
you know
yards
what?
here,
I
10
think
yards.
like if you take it in small pieces and if you're strategic about it and you don't stop, then even if you don't make it all the way for the big touchdown, you're in field goal range and you'll still score.
You'll still score.
It's just like real estate. You're going to make money, but because of the situation around you, you have to adapt and try not to try to get that big win. And you don't always win big every time, but you can win. And the only time you don't win is when you decide not to do anything.
Exactly. No, I agree. And the other thing is that because this is what I was thinking about the other day, because I came across a duplex that even at the asking price, this is in Indianapolis, even at the asking price, it was about a 5.5% return on the money, on your cash on cash return. And after the first year, just increasing the rent somewhere between 5 and 10%, all of a sudden it jumps up to about 9%. So that's huge. Now, granted, it's just a duplex. They're only asking $135,000. So the rents aren't going to be super huge, but the return on investment is good. And that's what, you and I always look at that, the return on investment. So I don't want to say that we're changing our minds about our philosophy in real estate, but what we're doing is we're adapting to the reality of the market.
I was just going to say those exact words, adapting to the reality. Yeah.
We're adapting to the reality. What is the defense giving us? What is the market giving us? Well, let's just take it. And the other thing is that if you do buy a duplex here, a triplex here, whatever, you're also putting your money to work. Because right now, the money that I haven't invested, the money that you haven't invested, is not working. I mean, it's earning me like, 0.5% per year.
Yeah.
It's not working. And if I can even get 5%, that's wow, from 0.5% to 5%, that's huge. Put it to work. So I hope that encourages our audience that it's not a bad place to be at where we're at right now, and just find those little wins, because little wins can add up. And let's just say, and you and I know people that have made fortunes just on small multifamily, doing small multifamily. I know people that have made fortunes just on single family homes.
And you can always trade later.
Yes.
Hold on to it. That's how I ended up here. I had a bunch of little tiny ones and I held on to it, just making $100 here, $100 there a month. And then when the time was right, trade it. Trade it up. Trade up. You're absolutely right. That was the other point that I'm glad you brought up, because I forgot all about that. That you put your money to work, number one, but now it's there so that you can in the future 1031 it, because you'll get the cash flow, you'll get some appreciation, your money works, and when the time comes to 1031 it, you sell 2 or 3 or 4 of those. What the heck, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter. Well, it comes back to that whole concept of real estate investing, because it allows leverage. Yes. So any appreciation is based on the value, not based on what you put as a down payment. Right. It's that plus what you borrowed versus if you were to invest in anything else, it's whatever you invested in. It's
Right.
not what you borrowed that's getting the appreciation.
Yeah, leverage is such a powerful, powerful concept. It's huge. Well, great. You know, I felt that this was a good discussion. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, I remember thinking, what are we going to talk about today? Things are so uncertain, you know, and in prepping for this, I remember, you know, talking with you and we thought, you know what, that's it. It's the uncertainty and how to take advantage of uncertainty.
Well, I'm glad that we're kind of on the same page, and I think we both agree. Hunker down a little bit, you know, kind of take our time, you know, go with what we're being dealt.
Yes, absolutely. Any final words there for our people then?
I hope everybody likes what you know we talk about. I hope they enjoy it and find inspiration from it. Give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe to our channel. And you know, you had mentioned we do put out a newsletter that you put a lot of work in, and there's a lot of reference points in there. If anybody wants to get on that newsletter, either put a comment down below or send us an email at realestatehedgehog@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts and let us know what you need, and let's see what we can talk about next time.
Absolutely. If you have a question or if you have like Sam said, some idea or some thought that you're thinking, I wish they would talk about this thing, whatever that is. And you know, if we don't know too much about it, we'll do the research. But I'm pretty sure that between Sam and I, we've run into it, or at the very least, we can find someone that has, and we'll bring them on board because we've done that in the past.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, cool, man. All right. I'll see you on the next one.
Take care.